Opening night in the Valley as Illinois State plays host to Evansville. Tonight's starting lineups are brought to you by your Illinois Ford dealers. Visit localfordstores.com to check out America's best-selling lineup of utility vehicles. Ford, go further. Take a look at the starting five for Evansville. Jalen Brown is the Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Week, and he's the leading scorer in the league at 21.5 points per game. Certainly a guy that can fill it up for the Aces. Christian Benson, Ryan Taylor, Dalen Traore, and Dwayne Gibson join him in the starting five. The Illinois State Redbirds at 8-4, fresh off their trip home from Hawaii, where they won 2 of 3 games there. And Deontay Hawkins was on the all-tournament team. He's been playing well as of late. He averages 15 points and about 7 rebounds a night. Paris Lee, Phil Fain, Tony Wills, Mikhail McIntosh, a very familiar 5 for Dan Muller. The Aces come in at 9-4, coached, of course, by Marty Simmons, the former Illinois high school star. We're going to talk a little bit about that as the broadcast goes on. Great high school career in this state. Dan Muller in his 5th season for Illinois State. The officials tonight in this Valley opener, Jerry Pollard, Brad Ferry, and Ray Natilli. You take a look at the all-time series, it's Illinois State dominating it 55 times. Oh, this will be the 55th meeting. Illinois State has won 35 of those previous 54 meetings and are 19-4 here against the Aces at Redbird Arena. The last time these two teams met, it was in Evansville in February of last year. The Redbirds won by 10. There's a look at Marty Simmons in his 10th season at his alma mater, 160 wins and 147 losses. And he's bringing his Aces in with a 9-4 record here tonight. Illinois State in their home white jerseys with red numbers and red piping. And the Aces with their road purple uniforms with little white and orange piping along the sides with white lettering across the chest that says Evansville. And we're underway here at Illinois State between the Redbirds and the Aces in the Missouri Valley Conference opener. Paris Lee's first shot is no good. There's Deontay Hawkins. Rebound no good, tipped in by Fain.
And that's what he does, folks. He just continues to crash the boards on both ends and gives the Redbirds second chance points like that. That's what Phil Fain's game is all about.
Good
hustle.
And a good start for him. He's been held to just 9 total points in the last couple of Redbird games there in Hawaii, so for him to get on the board early is good, and there's a quick foul against Illinois State. It's going to be on Hawkins.
You're going to see a lot of this action right here coming off a triple screen on the perimeter. Literally a triple screen. You don't see a lot of those in offensive sets anymore. And Evansville will run a lot of perimeter screens, a lot of motion away from the ball to get the shooters open. It's old school motion basketball, typically with 3 perimeters and 2 inside people, a lot of screens. It really takes a mental toll on defenses.
We mentioned that Brown is the Valley's leading scorer. He's also leading the league in minutes played, 35.5 minutes per night. He had 40 minutes the other night in their win over Mount St. Joseph. He didn't come off the floor. Fain down the lane. He's got 2 field goals right away.
Very athletic right there on that move once again, and yet under control. Good take and well under control.
This is Ryan Taylor's first shot as an air ball, and it's controlled by Paris Lee. Back on the Redbirds. Taylor's the transfer from Ohio University. McIntosh thought about the 3 steps inside the arc, works his way to the rim, missed the reverse lane, but the rebound is chipped in by guess who? Phil Fain. He's got all 6 of Illinois State's points here in the opening minute and 15 seconds.
Well, if you don't know what else to do on offense, just go hang out around the rim. The ball seems to end up there a lot.
Gibson's shot is rejected by Hawkins. He tried to go down the lane. You mentioned that Redbird D was excellent in Hawaii, and the Redbirds have started out again with a good level of intensity on the defensive end here tonight.
Good hands right there by the defense of Evansville, or Fain would have had another lay-in.
Lee tried to get the pass. It was kicked out of bounds by Dwayne Gibson.
Good energy early by both squads here. Illinois State showing it on the offensive end in particular. Evansville, they themselves are having a lot of energy moving the ball.
Hawkins' fadeaway is in.
Boy, he's in a comfort zone this season that I don't think the Illinois State fans have seen him quite like this for this period of time, this long of time period of time for any other season he's been a Redbird.
And he'll even tell you that this is the best stretch that he's had at Illinois State, the senior from Dayton, Ohio. Whistle away from the ball, and it's going to go against the Aces.
There's the screens away from the ball that I've talked about. I've always wondered how this approach that Coach Simmons has would adapt to the new way the officiating is calling off the ball screens. You really have to be careful because they are really watching for ball screens now. You can see they're sagging off of Phil Fain, even at the free throw line, because he's not noted as an outside shooter, but he can take it to the rim.
Will's left open, and he knocks down the three.
Good patience, good ball movement by the Redbirds. Looking very sharp offensively early in this contest.
And Marty Simmons wants a quick timeout, 3 minutes in. Good start for the Redbirds. They've scored 11 of the game's first 13 points. And Tony Wills, who really started the season on the schneid from the arc, has really stepped it up from three-point land, hasn't he?
Well, surgery will do that to you. It took him a while to get his game legs and his timing back. And since he has, and he had to play himself back into game shape. And since he's done that, his shooting has improved quite a bit. He's a true threat now from that outside. In the first 4 games, he probably wasn't considered that.
Really missed the entire preseason for the Redbirds. Had surgery to repair a sports hernia in late September and didn't do much with the team other than just try to stay in shape. As you look at Dan Muller, again, his Redbirds come in at 8-4, but he was ready in time to play in the season opener. But those first couple of games were rough. You know, he played a lot of minutes, and as you mentioned, he was just trying to get his game legs back, and now he's settled in. Three ball is missed from the outside. That's Ryan Taylor with his second miss, and the Redbirds clear. 1 and done for the Aces.
And again, number 10, Phil Fain, bringing in the rebound.
Well, to complete that thought on Tony Wills, the first 4 games of the Redbirds season, right after he had surgery, he averaged 3.5 points a game. Now he's at 7.3 over the last 8 games, so you can see how he's picked up his game. And David Njai is checked in for his first home game. Here's another guy who's coming back from an injury, from a stress fracture. Missed all of the first couple of weeks of the season and made his debut last week when the Redbirds were in Hawaii. So this is the first time the home crowd has a chance to see the big man. 7-footer from Senegal.
I saw him at practice the other day, and he was about as excited to play here at Redbird Arena for the conference opener as I've seen a young man. He was all pumped up that he was going to get in this game.
Fain from the free throw line is missed. Taylor's going to try again. He missed his first 3 shots from the field now.
You see a lot of push out of transition right here for the Redbirds. They're making the guards from Evansville play defense full court.
And now the gamble's going to pay off for Gibson. He almost came away with a steal, but that time on the second attempt he's going to get it. But there's going to be a foul. Redbirds did a nice job of coming back and making life difficult for Gibson, but the Redbirds are going to be whistled for a foul here. It's going to go against McIntosh.
Well, the turnover not only gave Evansville another possession, it created a foul on McIntosh, which is, that's something that he has been plagued with throughout his career, and he's got to be careful of that. And turnovers lead to a lot of difficulties, that being one of them.
And this is Solomon Heine at the free throw line. He's the junior from Inglewood, California. Spent 5 years in the Air Force Academy before beginning his college basketball career. And how fitting is this? He made his Division I college basketball debut on Veterans Day of this year for a guy who spent 5 years in the Air Force. There's something poetic about that.
Had to be special for him.
McIntosh loses the ball around the double team, but kicks it to an open Keyshawn Evans for 3 from the corner.
Well, that's pretty special for Keyshawn Evans to get that first one to go down. He'd been struggling when they were in Hawaii, finding his rhythm and his shot. So when he got the kick out right there from Kyle McIntosh to knock that first one down, confidence soars.
In fact, those are Evans' first points since the December 10th game, a couple of weeks ago. So you're right. After those scoreless runs, he's back in the scorebook, and we've got a timeout on the floor. 15:34 to go here, opening half. We're just underway, and Illinois State's off to a great start, leading Evansville 14-3. Tonight's game at Redbird Arena is brought to you by Country Financial. If it's important to you, we protect it. Kurt Pegler, Bob Morris, our Redbird production crew with you here in Normal, Illinois for the Missouri Valley Conference opener. Illinois State has scored 14 of the game's first 17 points. A good start for the Redbirds. They lead Evansville 14-3.
Well, they're doing what we talked about in our pregame keys. The Redbirds are. They're controlling the boards. 7-2 is the spread on the rebounding right now.
Redbirds have just extended that offense well out to the perimeter for Evansville. The Aces having a difficult time getting it inside. From the baseline, Gibson shot no good. Tip dunk, though. A follow home by Solomon Heine.
Wow. Major league follow-up there. Wow.
First points of the game for Heine. First field goal of the night for Evansville. McIntosh, offensive foul.
That would be his second. He picked up one on the turnover out of transition for Evansville earlier, and then this one right here on offense. Wow, that replay right there, what a putback. And again, it's just like young kids out there, you learning to play the game, go to the boards on offense. You don't have to be the initial shooter to always get the chance to score. Just be active and go rebound.
Three is missed by Brown, and the Redbirds are doing a great job on the defensive backboards. It's been one and done for the Aces. We're seeing Madison Williams in the game for the first time. That's him, the freshman from Augusta, Georgia, with the basketball.
He has played well, earned the right to be on the floor and get some major minutes.
Evans' second three-point attempt is missed. Back comes Gibson for the Aces.
Gibson missed the most part of last season with an injury and only got to play, I believe, in 4 games and has kind of started slow this year but is picking up the pace for the Aces and playing well as of late.
They're making an announcement to remind everybody that the official time right now is being used on the scoreboards above the basket because the ribbon board scoreboards evidently are not functioning properly, at least as far as the game time is concerned. So the official time is 14 minutes, which is reflected on the scoreboard above the basket. Catch and shoot from the corner. No good. Again, that's Ryan Taylor. He's been held scoreless. He's missed his first 4 shots from the field. There's a guy that's averaging 16 points a night for the Aces. Rough go of it early on. Difficult shot by Hawkins, no good. And cleared by Evansville. It's Gibson. Now quickly in transition, that time Heine was fouled as he took it to the rim.
Oh, wow. I'd like to see a replay on that because there was an arm stuck out by Heine on that one that really got in the face of Keyshawn Evans. Keyshawn took, no, it was inadvertent. But there was also a foul that took place, too. That the correct call was made because there was body contact.
Madison Williams is going to leave, and Tony Williams is going to re-enter the game. Tony Wills is going to re-enter the game. Yeah, Williams got up high there to try to play some defense there, but I think he got the worst end of the deal if he got smacked in the face.
I like that, though. Go and challenge people. Don't just concede anything. Go up and challenge them. Make them earn their points.
So here's Heine again. Played his junior college ball at Midland College, Texas.
Premier junior college program in the nation year in and year out.
And again, after serving in the Air Force for 5 years, now playing college basketball, trying to get a degree at Evansville. Great story from Inglewood, California.
I agree. I love those kind of stories, Kurt, when young men are trying to use the service and an education to better themselves.
Hawkins missed the jumper, and Heine high up to get the rebound in the defensive end. Near steal by Wills, but Brown gets it. Now he's in trouble, and a kick out to Gibson. Nice entry pass down low. Little jump hook from David Howard, who's checked in. He's a senior from Nashville. His first points of the game.
Used a great job, or did a great job of gaining body advantage there and ducked in and used his left hand beautifully.
Wills the miss, but Njai is fouled underneath by Howard.
Njai got the inside position, and Howard rooted him out and got caught.
Another look at the contact underneath the rim here. Lee is back in the game. Paris Lee had a shot rejected that time. He tried to hit the floater, and Howard changed it. Quickly back up the floor is Brown, but from behind is Lee, who gets the near steal, but just ran out of real estate. He couldn't save it in the corner.
Great effort. Great effort. Again, a good lesson for young kids. Paris Lee gets his shot blocked on one end. We'll see it right here. But does he pout or hang his head? No. He turns and sprints and gets back involved in helping on the defense and almost gets another steal, which he's pretty darn good at.
Yeah. Number one in the Missouri Valley Conference in steals. Eves has checked in the game for the first time. Javion Eves with that miss.
And that was a bad miss. That was an ugly shot.
And we got a blocking foul against the Aces under that Illinois State basket.
And that was a bailout foul because that offensive possession was going nowhere. Clayton was out of control coming in. We'll see right here. He had nothing happening at that point and got bailed out by a foul.
So it'll be Redbirds basketball as it was ruled a foul before the shot. We're seeing Ryan Taylor come back into the game for Evansville. He'll replace Dwayne Gibson. Redbirds haven't scored in a while. In fact, Evansville's on a 5-0 run right now. Kick out to an open Wills. His three is missed. The long rebound comes way out to Eves. Quickly back down the floor, and he was stripped, and the ball's out of bounds to Evansville. Good defense again by Paris Lee.
Evansville bench wondering why that contact didn't draw a foul from the officials. Coach Marty Simmons not really understanding it. I kind of got to agree with him there. Wasn't so much Paris Lee on the initial, it was Tony Wills on the follow-up. Trying to make the block, he just barreled through him.
Paris Lee guarding Brown. That's a great matchup. One of the league's top offensive players in Brown, one of the league's top defensive players in Lee. And Eves knocks down the three. And he's not a three-point shooter. He's a 25% shooter from beyond the arc, just his fifth three-point make of the season. And now a steal. Evansville's on an 8-0 run right now, and they pulled to within one possession of the Redbirds.
That good ball movement the Redbirds had going early, it has disappeared. Adjustments have been made by the Aces on the defensive end, and it's paying off.
Now it's Clayton. Little floater down the lane. No good. Tipped in by David Njai.
And that's what a 7-foot active post player can do for you.
Those long arms just stretched out and tipped it in. His first points of the night. Well, you mentioned he made a big difference in Illinois State's first victory in that Diamond Head Classic against the host school, Hawaii. 5 block shots in the game. Back from a stress fracture. And another block that time, it's going to be Phil Fain who gets that one. Now with 3 on the shot clock, a bailout long distance 3 from Eves is no good.
Once again, good defense by the Redbirds.
Wills penetrates for the left hand, can't get it. We've got a whistle on the loose ball afterwards. It's against the Redbirds.
Not necessarily a good shot right there in transition by Tony Wills.
We're about halfway through the opening half here in Normal. We've got a timeout on the floor. Illinois State leads Evansville 16-11 in the Valley opener for both schools. Prior to tonight's game at Redbird Arena, a moment of silence observed by both teams and the fans here. A moment of silence for Del Yarbrough, the former Illinois State star player who played here for 4 years from 1976 to 1980, is still 10th on the all-time rebounds list at Illinois State. He died last week. His son Malik is transferring here to play college basketball at Illinois State, sitting out this year after transferring from St. Louis. So our thoughts and prayers with the Yarbrough family and everybody at Illinois State, remembering a great basketball player from the 1980s.
And that he was. You didn't mess with Mr. Yarbrough. The gentle giant off the court, but when he stepped between those lines to play a game, he took his job seriously.
There's Brown around a screen, and he hits his first field goal of the night. Jalen Brown, again, the Valley's leading scorer at 21.5 points per game. And he's pulled the Aces to within 3. Lee's in trouble. Got it down to Injai, who's on the baseline. Had a shot blocked. Good defense by David Howard on the weak side. Came over to help out.
Hawkins back in the game after that timeout.
Injai's presence again, just altering shots in the paint, even if he's not getting a hand on it. Just him being around the rim makes things happen defensively.
Redbirds went into a offensive drought there for about 4 minutes, and it came shortly after McIntyre got his second foul. The natural rotation was to set Hawkins on the bench and give him a break, and with the two of them sitting together on the bench, Redbirds lost their continuity on offense.
Gibson all the way down, had his shot again, blocked by Injai, and a traveling violation against David Howard. And again, that 7-foot presence is making a difference, huh?
What a spark plug he is on the defense. He just hanging around the rim, and there is no such thing as an easy basket when his presence is felt like this. These last 2 possessions for Evansville is just the prime example of what he can do defensively for your squad.
Lee gets a screen from Hawkins. Evans in the game again. That was him with it momentarily. Double team on Hawkins, and he traveled.
Yeah. He thought he got a little push right there, but the feet moved first.
5th turnover of the night for the Redbirds.
The one thing I'm noticing, one of the bigger changes that the Aces have made is they're doubling down now every time the ball goes inside to that low block. No matter who gets it, well, McIntosh is out. They are now doubling down on everybody else because there's not that big of a scoring threat outside.
Howard spins and scores.
Nice move.
He's really giving the Aces a nice little lift off the bench.
1-point ball game.
Evansville has outscored the Redbirds 12-3 since Illinois State, or 12-2 since Illinois State started the game on that 14-3 run. So each team has had a run here in the first half. 6 on the shot clock. Evans down the lane. Now it's Clayton with a loose ball to Fain. And as the shot clock is expiring, he's fouled.
Aces played a really good sequence on defense right there. And then at the 29-second mark, bailed out the Redbirds with a cheap foul.
And Phil Fain will be at the free throw line when we come back. The Aces are within 1 at 16-15, Illinois State. Tonight's game between Illinois State and Evansville is brought to you by Casey's General Store. Casey's, famous for pizza. Well, after the Redbirds hit 6 of their first 10 shots from the field, they've hit just 1 of their next 10 shots, and Evansville has stepped on the gas a little bit and have made it a one-point game. It's now 16-15 Illinois State after the Redbirds had a 14-3 advantage out of the gates.
Well, early in the game, the Redbirds were dominating the game in just about every facet of it in the first 4 minutes or so, and particularly on the boards and in the paint. And since then, Evansville has changed that, and they have started to come back and control the boards and the inside game. If it hadn't been for the bench play of David Njai, the Redbirds would be in some serious trouble.
So it's Fain who scored the game's first 6 points for the Redbirds at the free throw line here.
And if you'll notice, Coach Muller has rolled the dice and put Mikhail McIntosh back in the game with just over 7 minutes to go with his 2 fouls. Let's see if he can play the game, the rest of the half, I should say, and understand the situation.
Brown's 12-foot jumper from the baseline is no good. The Redbirds clear.
Good defense right there again because they followed through with the block out and to secure the rebound.
Evans lost the dribble, now gives it up to Paris Lee. Redbirds have had a hard time running their offense here in the last couple of minutes.
Yes, they
Credit
are.
the Aces for that. And there's a nice entry pass from Lee to Fain.
They again, McIntosh's presence attracted Fain's defender, and that allowed Fain to cut to the bucket, be open, and Paris found him.
Fain has 8 points tonight after scoring 9 total points the last 2 games for the Redbirds. So he's come back to life a little bit here at Redbird Arena. 7 on the shot clock. Taylor gives it up, and it's going to be a traveling violation as Dwayne Gibson took 1 too many steps.
And that wasn't really his fault. It was a poor pass. It was behind him. And because of the location of the pass, he had to shuffle his feet. And again, I don't fault him. It was the entry pass that was bad. These two teams are getting after it right now. Now we've got all the excitement of the first conference game out of the way. Now we're just rolling up sleeves and going to work.
Welcome to the Missouri Valley Conference. Paris Lee from the corner, no good. Fain tried to keep it alive, but going back and getting it is Jalen Brown. Now Taylor weaving through the corner. Had a shot rejected. It was Fain that got his fingers on that one. Now it's Lee down the baseline and he's fouled. No, he stepped on the baseline. So it's going to be a turnover. Back to Evansville. That's the 6th Illinois State turnover.
It's obvious to me that the Redbirds have made a priority of pushing the ball in this first half. I think it's something that they're planning on. Okay, they got a turnover there and a couple of other times they have, but it's not been something that's taken them out of what they're trying to do tonight. And I believe they're trying to wear thin on the stamina level of the guards from Evansville.
Brown works baseline, and maybe he stepped on the baseline. It's the same violation. Well, the star players for both teams have had a rough start. Jalen Brown, 1 of 4 from the field for Evansville, and Paris Lee, who twice this year has already been the Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Week, still looking for his first points of the night. He's got 3 turnovers as well to go with just 2 assists. So both team star players are having a little tough go of it here. Now we've got an offensive foul over the back as Fain that time is whistled for it.
Trying to do something out of character. That's not the way he's going to score points and be advantageous to the offense for the Redbirds. Stay within the offense.
Redbirds making some substitutions now. David Njai is back in. Fain to the Illinois State bench. Mikhail McIntosh back to the Redbird bench as well. Deontay Hawkins back for the Redbirds. Is Dalen Traore to the free throw line.
What have the Redbirds got out of Hawkins up to this point? Just the 1 field goal?
That's it, 1 out of 4 in 11 minutes of action. international flavor to this team of Evansville. Traore, who just made the free throws there from the Ivory Coast.
Large body.
And it's back to a 1-point Illinois State lead. Paris Lee, open three, that's
Good ball
in.
movement. Great recognition right there by Deontay Hawkins. Skip it, find an open Paris Lee, and he was ready to shoot once he caught it.
And Paris Lee, who's one of the top three-point shooters in the country, with his first three-point make of the night. Now from the corner, Ryan Taylor misses. Rebound, long rebound to Brown. He misses.
Well, Brown cannot buy a basket, and that's just not typical. He was shooting 50% from the floor. I think it was 45 from three, and he just can't buy a bucket in this first half. And credit the defense from Illinois State for a lot of that.
Yeah, Ryan Taylor, the same thing. And now a three from Hawkins. So consecutive threes for the Illinois State offense.
That was good execution right there to use that high screen. Hawkins slips back instead of rolling. They put two defenders on Paris Lee, and he found an open Hawkins.
Redbirds are really harassing Brown, who threw it away. And we've got a timeout on the floor. Redbirds with a couple of three-pointers, bringing a little life back to the arena. Illinois State 24, Evansville 17, with 3:45 to go here in the opening half of the Valley opener in Normal. Stay tuned for our halftime report presented by Country Financial. Coming up at the half, some first half statistics and highlights to show you. Plus, we'll update the conference standings on the first week of the conference season in the Missouri Valley Conference and introduce you to our PNC Student Athlete of the Week. That's our halftime preview presented by Country Financial. Redbirds have a 7-point lead at 24-17 with 3.5 minutes to go here in this opening half.
We mentioned a little bit ago that Deontay Hawkins was only 1 of 4 at that point in time. Since then, he's hit a 3, and he has collected a total of 5 rebounds on the game. His contributions are coming in a lot of ways right now.
And Paris Lee now with his second straight 3. The Redbirds have knocked down 3 consecutive three-point shots, and suddenly it's a 10-point Redbird lead.
Redbirds are back to playing a harder like they started the game. Then
Solomon Heine.
Heine's having a great game.
Really a great game. He has knocked down that jump shot. He's got 6 of his team's 19 points. And another 3. This time it's Wills.
Assist Paris Lee. Paris Lee has been a spark plug here in the last 3 minutes.
Redbirds now 6 of 11 from beyond the three-point arc, and 4 of those 6 have come in their last 4 possessions.
Interesting matchup going on right now with Jalen Brown and Keyshawn Evans defending him.
And Tony Wills is called for a foul with 1 second left on the shot clock, and it's going to be a 3-point foul. 3 free throws now coming for Ryan Taylor. Here's a look.
Well, that wasn't a very popular call within this building, and I can kind of understand why.
First point of the night for Ryan Taylor, averaging 16 points a game. He missed his first 6 shots from the field. You mentioned about the struggles of these 2 leading scorers for the Aces. Taylor 0 of 6 from the field, and Brown 1 of 5, so they're 1 of 11 from the floor here to open the game.
And they're good shooters. Like I said, Brown's a 50% shooter from the floor, and Taylor's 46% from the floor, and they heft up a lot of shots throughout the course of a game.
So Taylor makes 2 of 3, his first points of the night. As we approach the 2-minute mark left in this half. And a nice move by Paris Lee. Worked himself to the baseline, flipped it in. Lee has 8 points all in the last 4 minutes. Here's Brown, baseline shot, no good, cleared by Lee.
Once again, great defense right then by Evans.
In transition, Lee's three, rims out.
Oh, wow.
Contact underneath the rim that the fans were clamoring for a foul, but no whistle, and they'll continue play. And now the foul's on Evans, a blocking foul on Jalen Brown.
Good take by Brown right there. He had a half a step on Evans and took it baseline and drew the contact.
Get a look here at that foul on Evans.
Just a little body bump. Brown knows enough as a senior. He knows how to draw fouls, get himself to the line. He's in, what is it? I believe it's like an 83, 84% free throw.
83, yeah.
83% free.
Came into the game 75 of 90, one of the better three-point shooters, not only in the conference, but in the country.
At 6 foot, he gets a lot accomplished out there.
From the same high school as Illinois State All-American wide receiver, Anthony Warham, Fishers, Indiana.
Fishers, Indiana, that's right. They know how to pump out some athletes up there.
They do.
Just on the north side of Indianapolis.
Now it's Clayton's turn for three. No good. Injai goes and gets it, though.
Good hustle by the big fella.
Hawkins pump fake. Fade away. Soft touch. Rolls out and controlled by the Aces. Now a steal from Paris Lee. He jumped the passing lane on Gibson and takes it down. Gibson rejected the layup. Now Evans for three. And the Redbirds get a three instead of a two out of the deal.
Great job by Clayton to follow that up because Gibson did not give up. He got his pocket stolen by Paris Lee and then blocked the shot before Paris could score the lay-in. But Clayton was there to recover and get the assist. Great hustle by the Redbirds.
And the Redbirds have their largest lead of the game at 12 with 30 seconds to play in the half. Brown nearly had it stolen away. Taylor, fadeaway as he slipped and somehow he got it to go down.
I'm not certain how that wasn't a travel. I think it caught the official off guard, and instead of blowing the whistle, he swallowed it. Because it was like a hog on ice right there. That was definitely a travel, and it cost Illinois State a bucket, and Evansville, to their credit, took advantage of it.
Tough shot from Lee, and that's going to be the final shot of the half. And the Redbirds will head to the locker room with a 10-point advantage at 35-25. Dan Muller trying to get an explanation on why that wasn't a traveling violation on his way off the floor, but the Redbirds have a 10-point lead here at halftime. So the 8-4 Redbirds have 35 points. The 9-4 Aces have 25. And our halftime report is up next, brought to you by Country Financial. Illinois State 35, Evansville 25 at the half here in Normal, Illinois. Back at our Country Financial halftime report here at Redbird Arena, where Illinois State leads Evansville 35-25. Take a look, Bob, at those first half numbers, and maybe the first thing that jumps out is Illinois State has twice as many field goals made as the Aces have right now.
Well, you look at the stat sheet and you wonder how the Aces of Evansville are in this ball game as close as they are. I know they're down double digits, but you wonder how they're that close. They're only shooting 25% from the floor and 12% from three-point. And they're getting out-rebounded, and Illinois State has twice as many assists. So you wonder how they're, well, the reason they're in the game is they're 10 of 13 from the foul line. 10 of their 25 points have come from free throws, and Illinois State has only shot 2, and they're 0 for 2 at the foul line. So there's been the reason they're hanging around. Illinois State, you have the feeling, is in control of the game, but they're not running away with the game.
Yeah, not by any means. And the Aces are hanging around and cashing in at the foul line. As you said, that's how you can stay in the game, even if you're only shooting 12.5%. Right now, Illinois State leads at 35-25 as we continue our halftime report, brought to you by Country Financial. Back with more from Redbird Arena in a moment. Let's take a look at our halftime highlights, brought to you by Country Financial. If it's important to you, we protect it. Illinois State 35 and Evansville 25. Take a look at some of the plays which shaped that opening 20 minutes of action. Phil Fain off to a really quick start for the Redbirds early on. Scored the Redbirds' first 6 points of the game. Again, the Redbirds jumping out to that 14-3 lead before the Aces then kind of turned it up on the Redbirds, huh?
Well, it was kind of a half of runs, no question about it. As you said, Illinois State came out early, delivered the first blow, then Evansville came back, and they delivered a punch right to the nose of the Redbirds of Illinois State. And then Illinois State really impressed me. They did not lose their composure after Evansville's run. They came right back and kept chipping away and got it back up to 12 points at one point in time, and we went into half at a 10-point spread.
The Aces led in scoring by Jalen Brown, who averages 21.5 points a game. He has 6 first-half points. And Solomon Heine off the bench has added 5, and that's a guy that averages just 2.2 points per game, so he is playing very well and had a couple of key buckets for the Aces during that run when they were kind of evening the score out. The Redbirds led with 2 players with 8 points. Phil Fain, as we mentioned, scored the first 6 points of the game for the Redbirds, and then a late surge by Paris Lee. He has 8. He is now 3 points away from 1,000 in his Illinois State career, the senior from Maywood, Illinois.
Paris Lee, knowing him as I do, I know he'd give up those 3 points and postpone his celebration in order to get a W tonight.
And we mentioned that David Njai, playing in his first home game of the year, coming back from a stress fracture. His numbers aren't going to jump off the screen as far as his offense is concerned, but defensively, he changes shots, he alters things. He's only credited for 1 block shot here tonight, but let's face it, he's been a factor protecting the rim for the Redbirds.
Well, whoever's keeping that block shot statistic needs to be, they need to reevaluate that individual's job, because I know he got 3 on one sequence, and I know he had at least 1 or 2 others that I'm aware of, so I know he's got 4 or 5 tonight. His presence defensively elevates the Redbirds because they can go out and pressure the ball and get after and not worry about if their man gets to the rim. There's always going to be somebody by the name of David Njai that's hanging around at the rim ready to alter the shot attempt.
Busy opening week for Illinois State and for Evansville. Each team in the league will play 3 games in the first 6 days of the conference season. Evansville will go home and play Northern Iowa on New Year's Day, and the Redbirds will head to Loyola as you get a look then at Jalen Brown, the Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Week and the leading scorer in the league. And then each team will have a midweek game next week. So right away, the Missouri Valley Conference, you're going to have 3 games in the first week of the season.
Once it starts, the grind goes. It just never gets any easier.
And so the Aces start the second half with the basketball.
Mikhail McIntosh starts back in the lineup here. Starts the second half.
Redbirds get a turnover on the opening possession. Evansville opened the second half with the same starting 5 that started the game, with the exception of David Howard is in the game. He came off the bench for the Aces. The Redbirds have their original starting 5 on the floor to open this second half. And there is Ryan Taylor, who took forever to score in the first half, but he scores on his first shot of the second half. In fact, he missed his first 6 shots from the field in the opening half.
That was an excellent shot right there because he was well defended by Tony Wills.
Wills underneath, and he flips it out to Hawkins. He was in trouble there. He was about ready to step out of bounds. McIntosh tried to zip a pass down to Fain, and it's picked off.
Good help side defense right there to get in the passing lane.
Christian Benson is still on the defensive side of the floor, holding on to his head. He was involved in that play. See if our replay can show us what happened to him. Oh, he collided with his own teammates.
Christmas. Yes, he got a
Jalen Brown, yeah.
Oh, goodness. Oh, those hurt. Now, hopefully it's not anything too serious. It's just the initial pain of it all, and that will hopefully subside and go away.
We mentioned the international flavor on this Evansville roster with Dalen Triori from Ivory Coast, but Christian Benson, who's now leaving the game, is from Copenhagen, Denmark. And they also have a Serbian on the team, Sergej Vucetic, who we've yet to see here tonight. So a couple of foreign players, a lot of foreign influence on this Aces squad. Here's Brown, works on Wills, hangs, fires, missed the shot. Saved by lead of the Redbirds, Mikhail McIntosh.
There's no easy baskets happening in the paint tonight. Redbirds are challenging every shot that's gone inside.
Hawkins on the low block. Rimmed out. Taylor from the corner.
His outside shot just isn't in rhythm tonight. When he has scored, it's been when he's taken the ball to the bucket and has drawn fouls or made lay-ins.
Yeah, 2 of 9 from the field for the redshirt sophomore from Gary, Indiana, the Ohio University transfer. Now Fain. Difficult shot. Good defense from David Howard. He has really been a factor defensively for the Aces.
Yes, he has. You're exactly right. He's not overly athletic, but he obviously has a good intelligence for the game, and he's always in the right place, and that's how you test an IQ on somebody.
Lee slipped. We got a whistle, though. It's going to be a foul, it looks like, against Evansville.
I believe that was on Jalen Brown.
First foul on Brown. Get another look at that off the inbounds. Boy, that could have been dangerous if you step on the wrong foot there. Now a steal off the inbounds. It's Gibson on the other end who takes it down and lays it in. First points of the night for Gibson. McIntosh tried to split a double team. Now it's Fain. He couldn't finish on the dunk. Missed it, but he got it back and he flipped it in. And a three-point opportunity. Not how you draw it up, but a point, a hoop, and maybe a three-pointer.
Well, credit Deontay Hawkins for keeping that ball alive after the missed dunk attempt. Because had he not, there was 2 Evansville defenders there that were going to get a rebound. But Deontay kept the ball alive. And Fain came back into it and got the putback.
An 11-point night for Phil Fain, who averages just a notch under 10 per game. So a good evening at the office for Phil Fain. Here's Gibson.
Great
hands from Hawkins in the steal. Now it's Clayton back for the Redbirds. 3-on-2. It's Fain again, and he's fouled as he attacked from the left.
Got bumped right on the arm. He's 0 for 2 on his dunk attempts, though. He's going to catch some grief at practice tomorrow about that. I don't even think it'll take that long. They'll probably get him tonight in the locker room pretty good. As you said, going back to your original comment, Hawkins' deflection down there on defense, active hands in the dribble attack right there by Brown, started that whole transitional period for the Birds.
Fain is just 1 of 5 from the free throw line here tonight. You mentioned Evansville cashing in at the foul line. The Redbirds haven't.
Hounding defense right now.
Lee got a hand on it and a steal. Fain back to Lee, who leaves it for Fain.
No doubt on that dunk. That one they had figured out.
And Marty Simmons wants timeout. The Redbirds turn defense into offense. A steal on one end of the floor and a dunk on the other. And the Redbirds now have an 11-point lead with 16:13 to go here at Redbird Arena.
Those are the energy plays that gets a team fired up.
Tonight's game at Redbird Arena is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Ford, go further.
We're going to have a chance here in a replay to watch that steal. As you see, typically the steal is made by a help defender, which the initial defender was Tony Wills on Jalen Brown, and he was doing such a good job of position. The help defender, which was Paris Lee, had the point of attack to be able to come in, flip it loose, and then set up the excitement on the other end. Help defense, the key to success on all defenders.
Redbirds with 5 steals on the night and an 11-point lead.
The thing this defensive intensity does for the Birds, it makes them want to get to the defensive end next time also.
Well, the Aces had 2 good cracks at it that time from in close and couldn't get either to go down.
Earlier in the season at Austin P, the Aces had 50 points in the paint. They're gonna struggle to get there tonight. At this point in time, they have 10.
DJ Clayton is called for the player control foul, so the Aces will have the basketball when we come back. We've got an officials timeout. Illinois State 40, Evansville 29, second half here in Redbird Arena. Back here at Redbird Arena where Illinois State leads Evansville 40-29. The Aces, of course, coached by an alum of the university, Marty Simmons, who was an unbelievable high school basketball player in the state of Illinois at Lawrenceville. All he did was win consecutive state championships in 1982 and 83, leading his team to 34-0 records both seasons. Just a memorable high school career, Class A championships back-to-back in 82 and 83, and he scored nearly 3,000 points in his high school career. Those were the days, huh?
Wow, yes, those teams were just phenomenal. He and the blonde bomber, Jay Scheidler, who went to Kentucky, and those two were unbelievable.
Ron Felling coached that team and then went on to be a Bob Knight assistant coach. So just some legendary years there at Lawrenceville and part of the great history of Illinois high school basketball. Deontay Hawkins has just picked up his second foul. He'll leave the game. So will Paris Lee. Keyshawn Evans and Mikhail McIntosh re-enter, along with the 7-footer David Njai as he replaces Phil Fain.
McIntosh has yet to get into the scoring column tonight. Only 0 for 2. He's not forcing things, but got to give a lot of credit to the Evansville defense.
And now we've got a foul on Evansville, trying to set a screen. That's David Howard's third foul. And he's quickly going to be pulled off the floor, it looks like, in favor of Dalen Troyori. Well, certainly, Mikhail McIntosh, a 13-point and 6.5 rebound a night guy for the Redbirds, and so if he's got a 0 next to his name, the Aces have done a number on him a bit too.
The Aces have gone to a zone, which is not something you're going to see a Marty Simmons team do very often.
And not for a guy who played for Bob Knight for a little bit, and a guy that played like Jim Cruz, all those man-to-man guys.
I didn't know they could even spell zone.
Right. Inbounds pass to Wills, missed the 3, and the rebound is controlled again by Troyori, who's just entered the game.
Good job there off that high screen by Mikhail McIntosh, jumping out, hedging, and then not leaving. Staying up on it, double teaming with Evans. The defensive intensity has been there the whole game for Illinois State tonight. You know, their offense has kind of gone up and down at times, which most teams do, and yet they've been able to maintain the momentum because of their effort on defense.
Five on the shot clock. 2 on the clock. Fadeaway is no good, and it didn't touch the rim. That was a catch and shoot for Heine, kind of out of his range. And so the Redbird D again comes up with that intensity and a shot clock violation.
Well, prior to that shot, the Aces of Evansville are shooting 27% for the game right now, and it didn't go up with that miss. So they're struggling on offense because of the Redbird defense.
Wills, open 3, good look. Can't get it to go, though. Now quickly back up the floor. Heine had it out of his hands and out of bounds. Takes a tumble right about where those cheerleaders are at. Hopefully he's all right.
He lost focus right there because that should have been a conversion, as we see. He slipped behind. He slipped behind the Redbirds on that one and had a run out that should have been converted into an easy lay-in and just let it go through his hands.
Lee back in the game now, running the offense for the Redbirds.
Somebody, some way, somehow, they've got to get the ball into the paint against this defense again. That's where they've had success.
Evans, a three.
Good ball movement right there.
The Redbirds' 8th three-point make of the night. Evans has 3 of them.
Evans has probably played, you'll hear the staff compliment him afterwards on his defense tonight. He's been one of the reasons that Brown has really struggled, except for that perception.
Yeah, catch and shoot there. You can't keep him down. The Redbirds have really bothered him, but Brown now with 8 points after that made jumper.
And Evans wasn't guarding him on that particular sequence. But where I was going with that is once you focus is on defense, your offense has a way of coming around for you.
DJ Clayton with an offensive rebound and a foul against the Aces. And that's the first foul against Priori. Here's a look again. Evans, the miss from the corner, but offensive rebound there for Clayton.
This is also where, in these sequences right there, where you see a second chance opportunity from an offensive rebound, Willie Wiley is out of the lineup, and he is such a big player for them in that regard. He takes up space. He's muscular. That's a tough loss for them. You don't replace him very often.
Well, the Redbirds are 2 of 7. I checked that, 1 of 7 from the free throw line, and then a foul on the miss. Well, you mentioned the disparity in free throws. 10 of 13 for Evansville, 1 of 7 for Illinois State.
DJ Clayton and Phil Fain have really got their issues at the foul line when it comes to shoot free throw. No question about it. They got to work on that. Jalen Brown just never stops.
That's an open look for Brown, and that's a make. It's a 2. It looked like it could have been a 3, but his foot evidently was on the line. Brown, a double-digit score now at 10. He leads his team. Clayton, the pump fake, stepped inside the arc and knocked down the jumper.
What a pretty little move that is. Not used enough in basketball. The old shot fake, one dribble, make the mid-range jumper.
First field goal of the night for Clayton. Brown with Evans on him trying to create.
That's just a matchup I've enjoyed watching tonight.
Brown trying to create again and drew some contact on, looks like Evans is going to get the foul. So 2 free throws coming for Jalen Brown when we come back. Timeout on the floor. 11:59 to go here in this one. The Redbirds lead Evansville in the Valley opener 45-33. Every road to St. Louis starts on a Missouri Valley Conference campus and converges under the gleaming reflection of Arch Madness. Don't miss the 2017 State Farm Missouri Valley Conference Men's Basketball Championship, March the 2nd through the 5th at Scott Trade Center, presented by Fox Sports Midwest and Aetna. For tickets, call 309-438-8000. That's 309-438-8000, or visit archmadness.com. Get your tickets and get on the road to Arch Madness.
Couple of things I'm looking at here on the stat sheet that jump up at me, Kurt, is the fact that Evansville has 12 turnovers with just under 12 minutes remaining in the game. They have 12 turnovers, and off those turnovers, Illinois State has scored 14 points. That's incredible to me. That's been the meat and potatoes for the ISU offense then. ISU leads the rebound, but not by much, 28-27, but second chance points. ISU has 10 offensive rebounds and has 12 second chance points. That's just effort right there. You create turnovers and you score from them, you get 14. You get second chance points off of offensive rebounds. That's 26 points off of effort. That's impressive. That means your team's locked in, playing with a focus.
The officials having a conversation with Dan Muller about a substitution in the Illinois State lineup as Jalen Brown's about ready to go to the free throw line here for the Aces. I think they're asking who Deontay Hawkins came in to replace. He said he came in for Keshawn Evans, so Evans is technically going to have to still come in the game at least until Brown shoots a free throw here. He was the one that picked up the foul on Brown. And again, Jalen Brown, the Aces leading scorer and the Missouri Valley Conference's leading scorer at 21.5 points per game. Has 10 now. Evans leaves.
Wow.
Hawkins comes in.
All that hullabaloo over the substitution was just, you couldn't come in until the first free throw was shot.
I think that's the definition of a Bronx cheer by the crowd as Brown splits his free throw. He scored 20 or more in 7 of the last 11 games for the Aces, and sitting on 11 points now after that made free throw.
He's 3 of 9 from the floor, though. Everything he's got tonight, he's had to work for.
No question. That's been the story for both him and for Ryan Taylor. And a whistle away from play here is going to go against the Aces.
Dwayne Gibson guarding McIntosh down low, and that's just not going to turn out successful for the Aces on very many opportunities.
And the Redbirds are in the bonus now after that foul. So at the 11:44 mark, Illinois State's going to begin starting to shoot some free throws here.
Well, in the first half, the Aces shot a lot of free throws. It appears as if in the second half, the Redbirds may be at the foul line a lot.
Kyle McIntosh's first points of the night, the preseason All-Missouri Valley Conference pick. The captain of the Missouri Valley Conference Most Improved team a year ago, and high expectations for him in the league this year as one of the top players in the Valley. Traore tries to create. Fain bothered him. He missed the shot.
Trying to score in traffic down there, and that hasn't worked out very well for him.
Now on the other end, Fain's going to try to do the same, and he does.
That worked out wonderful for him, but it wasn't in traffic. It was one-on-one.
Nice night for Phil Fain. 7 of 11 from the field. He's got 15 points.
Very efficient. They've all been within his game. I love it when a young man understands his role and plays to it.
Got off to a great start hitting those first 3 shots from the field. Now Brown with Fain on him, and now Clayton jumps in too. 6 on the shot clock. This is Taylor. A deep 3 is no good. One-handed rebound and a foul. Big-bodied Dalen Traore getting that offensive rebound. 6'9", 230.
That's a large body. I think he struggles sometimes on the offensive end of it. Once he gets the ball to make offensive maneuvers, his footwork isn't necessarily as smooth as coaches would like to have it. But he's a large body, and without Willie Wiley available until he comes back, which they're expecting another couple weeks for him, they're going to have to make do.
Hawkins with a steal on the inbounds pass, and now Clayton is going to get to the free throw line, narrowly missing a three-point opportunity.
Aces are getting beat back. They're getting beat in half court. There's a lot of fouls taking place. If they're not careful, not only will they be in foul trouble, they'll be out of the game. It's a 15-point deficit now that could get to a lot worse if they don't start dig deep and find a way to get that intensity they had in the first half back. Now, I will also go back to say, in the first half, we talked about how the Redbirds were getting the ball out and running in transition. They didn't always get transitional baskets, but they were pushing to make the Aces have to retreat in a hurry. That fatigue factor, I talked about the stamina then, that fatigue factor I think is the reason for a lot of these fouls happening right now. Great job by the coaching staff with a game plan on the Illinois State end of it to push the ball and make Evansville have to play the entire 90 feet for 40 minutes.
Taylor catch and shoot over Clayton. Can't get it. Out of bounds. And it's going to be off of Illinois State. David Howard had his hand in there as well, but it's going to be Evansville basketball. Howard back in the game after his third foul. He took a little seat on that bench. That's him with the basketball, gives it up now. Benson's back in the game too. He was the one who got popped accidentally by his own teammate a moment ago. We've got a foul on the Redbirds and a one-and-one opportunity for the Aces.
That's good to see him back in the game. There's no concussion protocol necessary and things of that nature. So I'm happy for the young man. There's no injury. I also will make mention, while we got a little break real quick here, that Drew Smith, that's setting out due to an injury, a freshman for the Aces out of the city of Evansville, is one of the top freshmen in the league. He is going to be a name that people will know. He's one of them. They're going to say, gosh, he's been there for 6 years, because you're going to talk about Drew Smith for a long time. If he can stay healthy, he is a whale of a player. But tonight, he's in street clothes.
Brown is now 7 of 8 from the free throw line. He's got 13 points for the Aces. 10 minutes to go in this one. Lee to a cutting Clayton. He leaves it behind for Inchai, in and out of his hands, and back to Evansville.
Nice little drop-down pass, but I will also defend David in regards to the hardest place for a tall person to catch the ball is knees or below. And that's where that was. That would have been a beautiful play, but David's just not ready for that yet. Throw it up to the rim. He'll go find it up there.
Brown losing his footing with 8 on the shot clock. It was Wills from behind that knocked it away from him. Every time Jaylen Brown touches the ball, there's at least 2, and in that case, 3 Redbirds coming at him. There were 3 white jerseys around him here.
Well, we discussed a little bit earlier about how important it is for help defense to have a knowledge of the team you're playing, and that's what you're seeing here tonight.
And Paris Lee, again, with that excellent anticipation, nearly had a steal and a lay-in. Redbird fans are loving that.
Yep. The Birds are starting to get greedy now on defense, in a good way, in a very positive manner. They want to go for steals. They want to challenge Evansville.
The Redbirds are going to get the basketball back.
And at midcourt, because no one touched it.
13th Evansville turnover.
You can just read the body language out there. The Evansville Aces right now, just shoulders are slumped. They're feeling pretty blue at the moment. And there's 9.5 minutes left in the ball game. On the other hand, the Redbirds, they got a little extra hop.
And now a foul on Deontay Hawkins, it looks like. So the Redbirds give it right back. That's foul number 3 on Hawkins.
Well, if they're going to call that, they could call a foul every time down the floor on somebody. And here we go. Maybe we're going to start that. It's a trend. Another illegal screen going back the other direction.
That's David Howard's 4th foul. At this point, Marty Simmons just going to keep him in the ballgame. The Redbirds now, with 10 fouls on the Aces, are in the double bonus. Lee, pull up 3. No good. Offensive rebound by McIntosh.
There's the big fella, making his presence known on the offensive glass.
5 points now for Hawkins, all here in the last 6 minutes. Difficult shot. Hawkins trails the play, looks for help, and flips out. This is Hawkins from McIntosh, and the shot is missed, and McIntosh tips it and controls it.
Look at that effort.
Corner 3, Clayton is in.
Mikhail McIntosh, what an effort. I know DJ Clayton got the basket, but he ought to share the points with McIntosh on that.
And just as you said, McIntosh doing all the little things, even though his point total isn't so high, that's a great picture of what he's contributing tonight.
That's a sign of maturity.
A couple of tough shots there by Eves. Ball is still alive. This is Howard in traffic. Had a shot blocked, but a foul on the Redbirds. Hawkins just picked up his fourth foul. 7:48 to go here. Illinois State in control, 55-36 over Evansville. Our defensive play of the game is brought to you by Bratcher Heating and Air. A steal on one end and a dunk on the other. Paris Lee gets his hand on it. Phil Fain to Lee and back to Fain. Our defensive play of the game. Bratcher making home comfortable again. Learn more on ways to defend your home against the elements by visiting BratcherComfort.com. Our defensive play of the game again brought to you by Bratcher Heating and Air.
That kind of describes the evening for both squads at this point. ISU is very aggressive and attacking on defense, creating offense from it. Evansville having trouble handling that. Evidenced by the fact they now have 14 turnovers. Now there's a free throw made you don't see very often, Kurt.
Use the glass, why not? Use it all.
It's up there. They paid for it.
Well, from the free throw line tonight, the Aces are 14 of 19. Illinois State at the line just 4 of 11. As you mentioned, that's been a key reason for the point total for the Aces is what they've done at the free throw line. McIntosh to Clayton. Well done, but Clayton couldn't finish. Now it's Brown. A missed dunk on that end, and Howard comes up with it, and he can't finish.
And here comes transition again. Always pushing, always looking, always probing. Doesn't mean you're going to get it every time, but it makes the defense aware that you're trying. Shooting percentage for Evansville, 25%. Overall, 10% from the three-point.
There were two whistles there from officials who looked at one another and determined that that foul was on Illinois State's Mikhail McIntosh.
Mikhail's walking over to the official. Go, what else can I do? What else should I do in that? I went for the rebound.
So back to the free throw line goes Jalen Brown. He's been there 8 times already, 7 of 8 from the free throw line, as we mentioned earlier. An excellent foul shooter at 83%. And he's the next in line of that long line of Evansville scoring players. DJ Ballantyne, Colt Ryan, Shai Eli. In the last 8 seasons, Evansville has had a player in the top 3 in the Missouri Valley Conference in scoring each of the last 8 seasons, and Brown's going to try to continue that streak. 21.5 points per night, the leading scorer in the league in the non-conference portion of the schedule. Those point totals tend to go down a little bit once the league season starts. Everybody knows everybody's secrets, and usually the scoring isn't as high. 5 on the shot clock now for the Redbirds. McIntosh lost it, got it back, and he's fouled.
I think they were doing chin-ups on his forearm there. They had him so there was 2 or 3 guys that were holding on to him there.
Well, David Howard just picked up his 5th foul, so he's done. Pretty productive night for Howard off the bench. 5 points, but he was active defensively too. And so Howard, the senior from Nashville, will leave. And we're going to finally see the Serbian. Sergej Vucetic is going to come in. He's the transfer from the University of Nebraska, averaging just under 4 points and just over 2 rebounds a game. Sergej Vucetic.
Listed at 7'1".
Correct. We put him and David Njai out there, and there's a lot of arms and legs
yes,
on the floor.
Not a lot of body weight, but a lot of arms and legs. Again, because it's so enjoyable for me to watch. Keyshawn Evans, Tony Wills, and Paris Lee have just harassed the Evansville perimeters tonight. Just tremendous effort by those three. I'm not understanding that foul in any way, shape, or form. That ball was loose on the floor, rolling around. There was no whistle, no whistle, no whistle. And where did that ball was loose. That's a loose ball.
That's foul number 4 on Tony Wills. And now Brown.
They just took one free throw away from Brown because the big fella was trying to exchange places with somebody that was already on the line. And once the young man's been handed the ball, you can't move.
So lane violation on Vucetic, and the free throw was made by Brown. So give him his 14th point. Full court pressure here by the Aces. Clayton and McIntosh, and now it's Fain.
Storybook, that's how you do it right there. You write it up and teach it just like that.
A 17-point night now for Phil Fain.
Once again, big defensive rebound right there by McIntosh, but the assist to Phil Fain was by Mikhail McIntosh.
Evans, the open 3 from the corner, is missed. 5.5 left to go in this one. The Redbirds in control, a 20-point lead. Vucetic, and a shot blocked by Fain. The Redbird defense tonight credited with 9 blocked shots.
And I'm still saying they're missing some because I believe David Njai had more than what he's getting credit for. And a lot of blocked shots is being in the right place at the right time. Therefore, that means you're understanding your team's defense.
Coast to coast, Javion Eves.
Now, the one thing that Illinois State has to do is continue to keep their foot on the gas pedal right now. No let-ups mentally, physically, because Evansville isn't going to go away.
Spin move from McIntosh. He draws contact. He'll get to the free throw line. Looks like McIntosh is putting a contact lens back in. He may have lost one there. There's the lob again from McIntosh to Fain, as you said, kind of a textbook breaking of the full court pressure. And McIntosh back to the free throw line. Now the Redbirds are set to improve to 17-19 in Valley openers. This will be the first time that they've beaten Evansville in a Valley opener, previously 0-2, with 2 road losses at Evansville in previous Valley openers. They've never had a game at home against Evansville to open the league schedule until tonight. Nice pass down to Vucetic, but he can't get it, but he's fouled on the rebound on Fain. Actually, that's on McIntosh. I thought it was going to be on Fain, so that's foul number 4 on McIntosh. And Sergei Vucetic, who played his prep basketball, prep school at Michigan AIM Prep, and again, we mentioned transferred from the University of Nebraska. Now in his senior season here, 7 feet 1 inch, 238 pounds. The Redbird D, as you've mentioned, Bob, made it really difficult on the Aces all night long. We've played 4 minutes shy of 40 minutes, and the Aces have 43 points.
Exactly. The shooting percentage for the Aces it's under 30. I don't know where it's at now. It's probably somewhere in the 25, 27% range.
24 and a half.
24.
Yeah.
Under 25. That's
12 of 49.
That's, to me, that's the classic telltale sign of what your defense is doing to the opponent. You're challenging their good shots and you're making their bad shots, bad shots be taken.
Paris Lee. Redbirds cooled off from beyond the arc now. 9 of 26 from three-point land. Brown's going to penetrate, and he's going to get back to the free throw line. He's made a living at the foul line here tonight. He has just 3 field goals, but he's sitting on 15 points because he's made 9 foul shots. We'll step aside here. We got a timeout on the floor. 3:34 to go. Redbirds lead the Aces 60-43. Today's Meyer player of the game is sophomore Phil Fain, the Elk Grove, California native, with a terrific night from the field. 8 of 12 shooting. He leads all scorers with 17 points. He's also added 5 rebounds and 4 block shots, doing it on the offensive and defensive end. Scored the game's first 3 field goals for Illinois State. Got the Redbirds off to a good start and sitting on a 17.5 rebound night. Phil Fain, our player of the game, brought to you by Meyer. You're just minutes from saving with M-Perks. Find out more at Meyer.com. Jalen Brown back to the free throw line for the Aces. The Evansville Aces have lost 7 consecutive Valley Road openers. And it appears, unless something crazy happens in the final 3.5 minutes, that number will be 8 in a row. Give and go. Hawkins. Couldn't finish. Taylor on the baseline. Drives, flips, scores.
Down to 13 with 3 minutes to go. ISU, like I said earlier, better keep the foot on the gas pedal. Finish strong. Because Evansville, they just... Coach Simmons' team has no quit in them.
Five on the shot clock. McIntosh trying to create. Tough fadeaway shot, no good. Out of bounds to the Aces.
Well, that was a bad call. Deontay Hawkins never touched that ball. I happened to be where I could see that. I thought Illinois State was going to retain possession there.
Quick pass and a three-pointer by Ryan Taylor.
We're down to 10 points.
5 quick ones for the Aces. Well, well, well. As you said, the Aces aren't going to die here. There's McIntosh down the lane. A shot rims out. He couldn't get it to go. Redbird snake bitten in the last couple of trips down the floor.
What was a blowout 3 minutes ago is extremely exciting right now.
Well, it was a 20-point game just a few moments ago, but the Aces have chopped it down to 10. We've got a whistle, however, against the Aces. It's a funny game.
I know it's going to shock you, but it was another moving screen.
Yeah, at the 6:07 mark, it was a 20-point Illinois State advantage. And in the last 4.5 minutes or so, the Aces have chopped that in half. Redbirds are going to send DJ Clayton in the game to replace Thane. So the Redbirds have Wills, Lee, McIntosh, Hawkins, and Clayton on the floor. Evansville has Eves, Heine, Brown, Taylor. And who is the fifth on the floor? Solomon Heine. Seven on the shot clock. Lee. Lob and a jam with one hand.
Oh, my goodness.
Mikhail McIntosh. Mercy.
Oh, my goodness. That should make every highlight show in America. That will be played many times on a lot of different channels tonight and tomorrow.
Now it's Paris Lee with a rainbow three. No good. Long rebound tipped out of bounds, and it's going to go to the Aces.
I'm not certain by looking at Coach Muller that was the exact shot he wanted Paris to play.
Yeah, well, while we've got a moment, let's take a look at the Missouri Valley Conference scoreboard. We mentioned that this is the first week of the regular season. The game's still in progress. Bradley looks for its first Valley win of the year at home over Southern Illinois, and Drake leading Loyola. The Red Hot Ramblers. Ball is out of bounds, and it's going to be maintained by the Aces.
I think they're going to take a look at this because I don't think there's any way that ball should be going back to Evansville.
All right, so they'll walk over to the monitor and review that possession to see who has it. And again, we remind you that this is the first week of the Valley season. An impressive road win for Missouri State at Northern Iowa last night, and a road win for Wichita State at Indiana State. But the home teams are having their way tonight, huh?
Well, it appears that way. It's with 28 seconds remaining at Drake. Drake has a 99-92 lead over Loyola. Defense forgot to come to the game tonight, I think. There was a lot of shots being jacked up, and Drake's winning that contest with 28 seconds left. Also, Bradley, 59, Southern Illinois, 51, with 33 seconds remaining in that contest. So as you said, home teams having their way. Seems to be that way at Redbird Arena here at Illinois State tonight also.
So Evansville, after the monitor at the replay was checked, is going to maintain possession.
Last night, the two games in the Valley that took place were both road victories. Tonight, all three games are home victories.
Brown wants to go one-on-one with Paris Lee.
Why would a person wish to do that?
Heine in traffic. Tipped up and missed. And that might be the final shot of the night.
I don't think there's any question. Crowd stands and applauds its approval for the effort given by the Redbirds tonight.
Illinois State wins the Missouri Valley Conference opener over Evansville 62-50. The Redbirds are 7-0 at home and now have won 13 straight home games. The last team to beat them at home, Evansville, in January of last season. But tonight they get the best of the Aces and they win it 62-50. How about your final thoughts on really a nice defensive effort by the Redbirds and a victory?
Well, that's it. You just nailed it, Kurt. It was all about defense tonight. The thing that I think the coaching staff from Illinois State, Coach Muller and his crew, is going to enjoy the most is that his team is starting now to create an identity of being truly a defensive squad that can accept a challenge night in and night out. They are really becoming a reckon with their defense. They are just tremendous at it at this point. If they continue to grow as this season continues, they're going to be hard to beat anywhere, home and on the road, because defense travels.
And the fans that left the arena early missed that one-handed dunk with 1:20 to go by Mikhail McIntosh. The Redbirds led in scoring by 17 points from Phil Fain. Also 17 points for Jalen Brown leading the Purple Aces. The final again, Illinois State beats Evansville in the Valley opener 62-50. So for our producer, Autumn Conley, as well as the rest of our Redbird Productions crew, which has been great all year, I'm Kurt Pegler alongside Bob Morris saying so long from Normal, Illinois. Redbirds win at 62-50. The broadcast rights for this event have been granted to Comcast Sportsnet by Illinois State University. Any reproduction or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Comcast Sportsnet and Illinois State University is strictly prohibited. Redbirds win the Valley opener over the Aces, and good night from Normal, Illinois.